Hello everyone and welcome to another custom figure showcase and an update to my Silver Nemesis Cybermen. As some of you all know, before we got the B&M release, I got hold of a couple of the original Silver Nemesis Cybermen. They were slightly battered, but I decided that I wanted to give them a bit of an update to make them look a bit closer to what they did on screen. So I tried to make their heads a bit more chrome, which didn't really work that well, and I gave their bodies a bit of a darker repaint, which looked okay, but it wasn't the best thing that I'd ever done. In the end, I decided to give them another go over and give them another repaint, and here is the finished result. So obviously, first thing you might notice is the bodies are a much different colour. So what I've done for those is I mixed up some grey paint with a hint of blue to give it a slightly sort of steel blue look, and then I just mixed in a normal bit of just silver acrylic paint and then painted it all over, because the problem with the Silver Nemesis bodies is depending on the lighting they're under, they look slightly different colours. So I tried to take a sort of average look for them and then paint it that way, and it's worked out very well. But the other thing, the eagle-eyed amongst you may notice, is the heads have had a bit of a repaint and they are looking much more silvery. And if I bring in here, on the right I have the original release of the Silver Nemesis Cybermen, and here I have the updated B&M release. You can see the differences between them. Specifically, you can see the different colours of the bodies, but also you can see how much shinier the heads are on the custom ones that I've done. And I'm just going to do a very quick close-up comparison of the heads, so you can see the difference, because I don't know how easy it comes up from a distance. So here we have a close-up on the head sculpt, and again, it's not easy to see, but if I'm going to try doing something now, if you bear in mind, I'm going to move the light around. You can see that it is much more mirrored than the original ones. Like I said, I think if you look at the original ones while I'm moving this, you can see that the shadows don't move that much on them, whereas on this chromed version it is much brighter on reflection. I think you can see that it's very difficult to capture on camera, I have to say, but it is certainly much more chromed than the original releases. It has worked out very, very well. So I'm sure many of you are wondering how I got this chromed look. Well, I originally tried to use some just chrome spray paint, which it didn't work. It wasn't that it didn't chrome, but it was quite tacky on the plastic. It was difficult to dry, and it was very, very hard to get it to look really mirrored. That being said, some other people have done it recently, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute, and you'll understand why I'm going to come back to that in a minute, because for this, I saw on Facebook advertised, it's called the Mirrorest Mirror, and it's from artist Stuart Semple, and it is commercially available to almost everyone. Some of you who know Stuart Semple will understand why almost everyone, but whilst it is commercially available to almost everyone, it is aimed more at the art world. For that reason, it's quite expensive. It was £35, and it was £35 for that pot of paint. Now, bearing in mind, this is still 3/4 full. I've used up very little on this, but that is the result of that paint. It has worked phenomenally well, I have to say, but again, it is expensive. And before people turn around and go, 35 quid, that's a ridiculous amount to charge for paint. It is a lot, but again, you've got to bear in mind, this paint, whilst commercially available to anyone to buy, is aimed more at the art world, not the commercial world. I decided to get this because I thought, well, it's an experiment, it's worth trying, and the fact that I've got so much of it left is also good. I might do some other stuff with it in future, but obviously very sparingly given its price. But, as I said, other people have used some normal chromed spray paint. I won't show you any pictures on screen because I don't know if he's uploaded it yet, but Gallifrey Customs on Instagram recently used some Plasticoat chrome paint to do something similar, and his came out very well. His actually had a much smoother finish than mine because he sprayed his. I actually did have to brush mine, so there are slight brush strokes on mine, but it does seem that there are, normal chromed Plasticoat spray paints do have a very, very similar effect. I have to say, I think this is slightly more mirrored than the chrome spray paint. However, it makes sense because this is meant to be the Mirrorest Mirror paint on the market, possibly even on the planet. I was about to say it could be, but obviously it's very expensive. So if you are going to planning to do this sort of thing, using a chrome spray paint is certainly a cheaper option, and from the results I've seen, it certainly does seem to work very well. I didn't get it to work very well when I tried it, but clearly other people have managed to make it work, so it's, you know, it's certainly something that I would recommend doing. But yeah, so this itself, as I said, if you can afford £35 for this small pot of paint, it does have fantastic results, and that for a pot of paint that size, it really has gone very far. I've managed to do 2 coats on both the heads and the collars, and that's what it's come out like. It has come out very, very well, and it certainly does look very good. I think probably if I had one, because I don't, if I had I've had a brain thing, and I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Airbrush, that's the word I'm looking for. I got there in the end. If I had an airbrush, I probably would have airbrushed this and it would have come out a lot better, I have to say. As I said, I did use a paintbrush to do it, but it has come out very well. And I am very, very pleased with the final finished product, because it does look closer on screen as to what we saw. Certainly if B&M ever and CEO ever re-released again the Silver Nemesis set, then even if they don't do the chromed heads, as I said, because, you know, it is expensive, you know, there's no getting around that, so I can understand why they didn't do the chrome heads. But if they ever did a repaint of the bodies again, I would like to see sort of something similar to the ones I've done, because it just makes it look that little bit closer to what was seen on screen. You know, and I think it does come out and it does look very well. But that brings to a close another custom figure showcase. As always, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like, favorite, subscribe, share, it really helps me out a lot. Be sure to go to the description below for a link to my Patreon. I'm doing my very first figure animation, and you can get involved. There's exclusive content and rewards for those who do so, and funding my Patreon in any way gets your name at the end of my videos. I salute you all, and I will see you with another video very soon.